Hey, welcome back. We're back in Timberborn, and today, well, we're looking at a very, very dead colony. Well, there's still beavers, so I guess there's still life, but everything else is a little lacking water. But we're also lacking some lumber to do much about it at the moment, so we're going to try and expand out and maybe get a couple of reservoirs made. We have got this coming in over here, which should help a little bit here. It'll help keep out the bad water. Hopefully it starts staying over this way more. We do have a couple more trees that we could pull in here. In fact, let's make this a bit higher priority so that we can get this in there and get all of those nice trees that, while they may be dead, hopefully they're at least still useful. There we go. And speaking of possibly dead but still useful, my voice sounds a little raspy today. I apologize. I actually got hit by a car about 2 days ago, and I thought I walked away fine, but it looks like I've got some bruising. So, again, if it's a little raspy, sorry, it should clear up in a couple weeks. But for today, we're going to go ahead, speed her up. We don't have any water left here. We do need to get up into this hill because, as you can see, there's a little bit of water saved up here, and hopefully we can go ahead and get a little bit more here. However, there's another outlet over here that we're going to have to take care of. I'm going to put more in here. I could have put it back here and saved myself a little bit of lumber, but I think I'd rather have the extra water, honestly. And to get over there, let's see if we can plan for some kind of ladder over here. So we're just going to go straight across here, right to over here. There we go. There we go. All set and ready. We've got some beavers there pulling in some lumber, which is good. The water is still a little rough for 1 1/3 a day. Yeah, let's go with 1/3 of a day left. Also, I think we're going to try and start preserving a little water here. So what I want to do is we're going to start with another floodgate. We're going to put that there. And then we're going to come up here and do a good old fluid dump. There we go. And hopefully that keeps this area a little bit green so we can have maybe just a little bit more food throughout the drought. Our food's not bad, but we're out of carrots, as you can see, and the carrot fields, well, they're not looking great. Other things that we need to get started on some gears so that we can store more water. We're doing okay with the pit tanks, but I'd rather have that extra water storage from at least the medium. Once you get into the medium, you get a little bit safer to expand your population. So what I want to try doing, we'll see if we have enough science. We're going to remove this and this, and then we're going to do a nice power wheel here. Yeah, something like that. And we'll eventually do one on the other side, and we'll put the gears right in the middle. It's going to take them a few, though. So we'll let them go for that. Do we have... I don't think we have any potatoes being baked, so we can probably pause that. Now that the water is going to come back, though, we have a chance to turn all these back on. Now, that's going to take a ton of our beaver resources. This guy's just sitting there. Come on, buddy, go find something to do. You're doing fine. We're going to need some people in the farms. There we go. All right, well, we've still got a couple of people here and there. Once those come back down, this guy's just standing there. Yep, no people just standing around. We don't have time for that. Looks like they're building the last of our lock system up here, but it already is keeping out most of the bad water, so we can probably go ahead and let this down and let them go that way. I'm also going to let this one down. There we go. Well, there we go. Now it's down, so we'll get some water down here. Maybe it'll push out some of this bad water, but with all this water flowing in over here, I don't think we'll be able to use this right away. However, we've got some other good places for reservoirs, as long as we can get all of the trees we need. You know what? In fact, oh, hello. I don't know what that was, but All of a sudden we had to look underground. Let's go ahead and... No, that's not what I wanted to do at all. There we go. We want to cut these trees, or extra trees, of course. There we go. We've got everybody pulling in as much water as they possibly can. We're going to try and get up here to get into this just a little bit. Our guy here is really, really working hard to get us through here, and however we can get through those trees is great. Looks like they'll put that one in. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and do more potatoes here. Let's replace you with the staircase that we were going to do originally. There we go. And we'll even put one of those in there. And we'll get some more potatoes here. Might as well get some potatoes here for now. Let's see. We're a little low on people, but we're going to have to just find them where we can. Let's... Actually, we don't need those two on because there's only one tree that's really grown here. There we go. We've still got science. We've still got a couple people in the hauling post, which should help us out just a little bit. There we go. Now we're starting to look good. I want to get these up here, though. So let's do this. Let's grab ourselves a nice... do we want to put it that way? Sure, let's put it that way. Why not? And then I also want to get one that is slightly lower. There we go. And you can go there. And we'll work on getting some water out of there just as soon as we can. You go in there. You go in there. And that should be helpful. Let's make those a little higher priority, though. Just so we know we can get to the water. Above all else, we do kind of have to have water. Food is good. Water is a little better because you can grow food with water. In fact, as soon as they get this in here, we should have an area that keeps growing all the time. Let's pull some people to get this. These guys are just sitting around. We'll keep an eye on the carrots as we can. There we go. We'll get a couple of berries to tide us over. They'll be fine with that, I'm sure. And look at this. They've almost got our path out here. So we'll get those in there. Now, we'll have two different locks over here. In fact, let's see. We have a little bit of science, but I'm going to save it. When we get up some more science, though, we might come back and decorate those two just a bit. You can never have too many decorations. So we've got a couple extra beavers here and there. They're going just fine. Let's see. Everybody seems okay at the moment. Oh, look at that. I forgot to tell them not to replant these. So we'll get rid of all of those. That shouldn't take them too long. We'll get you in there. We've got all the people we can, getting all the water that we can. If we can get both of these in, we should have some guaranteed food, which that'll be nice. Oh, look at that. I forgot to connect that. We've already got people using the path, so that's kind of what we wanted to see. We'll open you back up. There's no carrots yet, but hopefully soon. There we go. Look at that. Now, with all of these gates, I don't want to set them manually every time. So as you can see over here, there's this wonderful mod that you can do a ton of different things. So let's take a break and take a look at our automated gate mod. Today on our mod break, we're going to be taking a look at the Simple Floodgate Triggers mod. This amazing mod allows you to automate many parts of your colony based on season and various other things. However, with all the options, sometimes things can get a little less simple. So let's take a quick look. As the name suggests, the most basic way to use this mod is to simply let it control your floodgate height depending on what season it is. As you can see from these options here, it gives you a basic, it gives you a timed, and it gives you an advanced. Now, the basic settings you can use for quite a while. Basically, what happens is you can set the gate to whatever height you would like it to be, and when you check this box next to whichever time this happens. When, let's say this one, set the height when drought starts, right when the drought starts, this gate will head to height 1. However, when this happens, you only get one chance. So if you miss the start of the drought and set it slightly after that, it will still stay at the same height for the entire drought. The timer, on the other hand, does just as it says. You can set your height on a schedule and say you want it to go for so long at that height. You can set that time, what height. You can set another time to go back to after the timer, and then you can work it that way. So far, this is the way that I don't usually use. I haven't found too much function for this, but maybe somebody out there in the comments can let us know what they use it for. The final option is the advanced option. And for that, you have to have a stream gauge. So you can set one down right here. You can set it down really wherever you want. They don't have to be close at all. You'll just want to know what the stream gauge is reading so that you can make sure that your gate is working the way it wants. Now, to do this, you simply choose the gate, choose to link it, and choose your stream gauge that you want it based on. And then you get a lot of different choices. You can have these disabled during certain tides. So if you don't want this stream gauge to affect it during drought for some reason, you can turn those off. The low threshold here is how low before something actually triggers. So let's go with, how about a 0.15? Right below the threshold. So if it gets below this threshold, what do you want the height of the gate to be? So in this case, if it's below 15 meters here, we're going to set it to 0. The high threshold is the opposite way, mostly to keep you from flooding. So let's say if it were to go above 1.5, then we would want the height gauge to snap shut all the way to 1. One of the most used ways of attaching a stream gauge to this is actually the contamination level. So if you have a river that you know might get contaminated and you want to make sure that a gate does something, either opens or closes because of it, you can come over here and take a look at the low threshold. Now, the low threshold says anything below this, and it will change the low contamination height here. So you can check that. And let's say if it's below 1% here, we're going to set it to 1. Of course, that's never going to happen here. But we can do the opposite as well and say if it's above 99%, set the height to 0.5. And you'll see that they snap right up into place. Now, if you want to just check and see if there's any water at all there that you don't want in here, you could always set the contamination threshold on the high side to 1%. And as long as it is above 1%, then this gate will either open or close depending on which way you set it up. Do be careful though, if you accidentally set up 2 stream gauges along 2 different points in a river and point them to the same dam, they can fight each other and you will get this nice little jumping gate. So watch for that, and if you see that, go back and check all of your stream gauges. Another great way to use this mod is to automate your water pumps. So if you have an area that you are using, say this river here, to pull in water from your water pumps, however, you don't want it to go dry during the droughts, you can actually choose to pause this when the drought starts, and then you can choose to unpause it whenever the drought ends. You can do the same thing with bad tides, of course. Now, I would always recommend to put these to the highest. That way, when they do pause and unpause, there will always be a worker in here. One of my favorite things to do with this is to use this in a fluid dump and to have it pause and unpause at first when droughts start and end, but using a stream gauge, you could actually set this to be linked here, and then it could watch its own water. So as long as this area has water in it, you can make sure that somebody is bringing water here, which will fill this up. And when that happens, as soon as it's full, it will pause and send the beaver out again. Overall, the Simple Floodgates Triggers is an amazing mod. In fact, it's one that I think ought to be included as a quality of life in the base game at this point. After bad water, it just makes things ever so easy to control where that bad water goes without having to stop and change all of your gates manually. Well, hopefully that shed a little bit of light on the Simple Floodgates mod that is so useful, and I hope they integrate something like that in the base game, but we're still waiting to see. I don't know what they'll get in there and what they won't. But we are going to need some more lumber, so we're going to toss another lumberjack down here and say, let's cut all these trees out of here, because I'd like to make my way over here and maybe turn this into a reservoir eventually. I'd also like to get maybe a small one in here, and I don't know if we'll be able to get one in here, but we very well might try eventually. Right now, it's just got good water. Now here comes the first bad tide after getting all these set up. Well, it's not a bad tide, it's a drought, so we'll take a second once it flips and make sure all of these, there we go, everything went fine there, everything went fine here. Yep, they all closed, so there should be some extra water there. This is looking great. These turned off just like they were supposed to, so we're going to keep on working there. Looks like they managed to clear this area out for us, so let's go ahead and just toss in, we need a gear factory, which is only 100, so let's do this. And then we'll do another wheel. And I forgot that they need to actually get in the wheel. They won't just climb over stuff to get in there. So we'll go ahead, get that set up. And then I want to go ahead and plan for, here we go, a couple more of these. I'm hoping, looks like we've got some potatoes growing somewhere. So we can turn back on the grill, get a little bit more food variety, which is kind of what we want to see. This one's set up, but I do want to set the workplace as highest so that when it pauses, there's nobody there, and when it unpauses, it's guaranteed to have somebody there. So that way we know that unless we manually control it, it should be okay. But you know what? While we're doing that, let's take a look and let's see if we can work on getting this space at least enclosed. We're starting to get more trees. We're still a little sketchy on food, but I think we're okay at the moment. Looks like we've got potatoes coming in, so we should be okay. Let's grab a nice levee here, and I want to go from over here, and we will put those in, those in, and we will put those in. Same thing here. We're just going to start with these, and we'll have to come across the land somehow. In fact, I'm going to have to come in here and we're going to build a dam here instead of a floodgate. And the reason is, one, you can walk on top of these. Now there is a floodgate that they do have through mods that you can walk on top of, but we don't have that unlocked and we don't have the resources to build it. So this can be a temporary structure. Always hard to go back and redo temporary structures, but we should be able to get this in there. There we go. And let's cancel these two. None of you. Goodbye, trees. And once those are out of there, we can come through and put these back in. I would like, let's see, we have some single platforms that might get us over there. Do a couple of those and we'll come down this way. Hey, no sitting around, no sitting around. There we go. All right, we've got one guy in a wheel. I admire the dedication. I really do, Briska, but your power and imagination there, buddy. There's nothing there. Let's see. You're not doing anything. You're working on something. I don't know where you're at. We're looking good. Look at that. We've got water saved up here. It is actually starting to look kind of green. So if we can make our way across here, maybe, just maybe, we can cut off some of this and have a small lake. It'd be a really shallow lake, but it should be all good water if we can push the bad water the other way. Let's see. We'll come around. This way, we've got a bunch of dead blueberry bushes. You know what? I'm going to... Well, I guess we don't need a road up to that quite yet, so we can just put in a nice... Why don't we do... Do I want that? I kind of feel like here would be a great place for a floodgate, just because we don't exactly know all the time how much power that's going to be putting out here, and we don't want the bad water to get back here. So that gives us a little bit more control. It might work, it might backfire, but we're going to build it anyway, and that's how we're going to do it. There we go. So they've got this started. Now, while we're here, we've got a little bit of metal that we could be gathering. So let's start on the metal. Actually, you know what? That is a ton of stuff that we don't quite need at the moment. We don't need metal. What we really need is my original plan, so that I don't get distracted. Let's get our medium tanks. We're going to do 4, and that should be plenty of water for just a bit. That should hold us over. If we can get all these filled, we'll be doing really well. There we go. I guess I don't need to take out that last bush, but oh well. You're fine. You're not cutting down any trees. Why not? Oh, there's no trees for you to cut down. I suppose that makes sense. I mean, every once in a while you wonder what the beavers are doing, but in this case, I get it. I really get it. There we go. All good. All good. Looking great. I could probably go back and clear out a lot of this land that doesn't need cut. It used to slow down the game. It doesn't really do that anymore. I think they got some optimization in there that it doesn't do that quite as bad. And by slow down the game, it can still slow down the game when it's up, but it used to slow down the game even when it wasn't. It was trying to calculate too much. So I don't think it does that anymore. So luckily, we don't have to worry about it. And there we go. Look, we've got one guy in here. He is keeping all of these crops alive. So that is good. Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost a lot of our potatoes. What we could do is put another one of these. We would go through water pretty quick, but I'm hoping with the extra storage and now with these up here pulling in water, maybe we'll just have enough to do that. Let's toss in one platform here, and we'll toss in a little bit of fluid dump here. There we go. And that should keep all the potatoes for next time, so we don't have this huge brown mess. I'm going to describe it as a mess next time. So there we go. They're getting the trees. They're getting these last carrots. They've got a lot of this built. They're going to have to build this over here, though. Are there any trees? Yeah, there are trees left there. The trees, you know, the ones directly next door. Why would you ever see the trees directly next door? Who knows? There we go. We're all set. That one's all good. Looks like this guy down here is done for now, so let's go ahead, move him on, and then we're going to put a ladder here, and we'll connect it in, and will that reach? I don't know if that'll reach, so we're going to move you over to here, so you can cut all of those. There's no logs left in there, right? Nope, they've done their duty, so they're good there. We're still a little short on beaver power. We're about 2 to 3 short. Let's see, can we... We'll flip that around. We'll just do one more house for now, just to even things out. And then we'll start working on making this into a reservoir. Looks like they've got our carrots out of here, so somebody wanted some carrots. There we go. Those are all in there. These are good to go. You're good to go. All this is good. And we have this one left here, which, you know what? I don't want to wait on that, so let's just get it out of there. Tired of seeing it. And then we're going to make... We need maybe a ladder down in there. So let me grab a ladder. There we go. That was not a ladder, that's a path. It's slightly different, slightly more level. There we go. We're going to do that. We still need to cut these trees, so we'll use that there. And then we'll take this back and save the wood. How are we doing on this? We've got about half the gears we need. We do need more planks. We are starting to save some up, though, so looks like we're catching up here. They're getting taken just about as fast as they can get made, though. Let's go ahead, take you out of there, send some more people away. There we go. Now we've got extra people to run a couple of extra things. Let's open you back up. And how is this looking over here? This is looking really good. In fact, we can probably put something in like this. There we go. And we'll get all of this. And if this can stay green, or at least for a little while, we might have some more usable land. There we go. Eventually, we could probably turn this into some kind of reservoir. The bad water should not be coming down through here anymore, so this water should theoretically get pushed out of there or dried out and refilled, so we don't have to worry about that being bad forever. Just this one over here that's going to be a little more tough to turn into a reservoir. That's why we're starting up here if we can. How's this guy doing? He's sitting there. Oh, he's waiting on the ladder. Somebody come make this poor guy a ladder. He just needs a ladder, guys, and then he'd get you some trees, and you could start on a nice reservoir. Everything would be just fine. So, oh, there's a giant tree right there that nobody's getting. Let's tell them to get that as well. Food, water. Water's a little lower than I would probably like. Here at day... Well, with 3 days left, I'm just going to turn off this fluid dump. If there was anything... Let's see, pause on a schedule. I could try and work out the exact time when that goes down, but that never works. Really, we want to get to the advanced that we were talking about and get those... what are the stream gauges up so that we can have full control over what we have going. There we go. Oh. There was a staircase over here. The stone staircase. Yes, the one that they could have taken the whole time to go get those trees. Okay, well, we don't need it anymore, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. I want to make sure that we're not flooding our area, so let's get those in here. We got 4 days left. We should have enough trees. Let's cut you and you out of there. That's at least a couple logs. There we go. Do we have any other places we could be cutting logs? We could move something up here. There we go. Now we have some extra logs there. They've already pulled all the logs out of here, so let's get rid of that. And they can pick all this up and use it for whatever they need. Looks like a lot of the logs over here are chopped down. There we go. We'll get that, and then somehow I missed those, so we'll get those out of there. Looks like they're started on that. They've got a pretty good start here. All right, this guy just likes to sit there. I mean, not a ton to do, but every time I come over here and check in on him, he's just sitting there. All right, Chick-Yule, let's go find you something to do. Anything? No. Okay, there you go. All right, let's get rid of you, and we'll start planning on, 1, how to get rid of these trees, because we're going to need to, and 2, the big reservoir that we're going to need here. It's not our biggest reservoir, but it's definitely going to be at least a noticeable one. So let's put in nice levees. We've got... How high can we make this? We probably don't want it any higher than the river there for the time being. You know what? We could go, instead of there, let's move this all forward so we can have the most room possible. Okay, there we go. Now, I had to take a second, so let's see if we can get those levees in there the best way possible. We're going to do 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. We're going to have to go across somehow. Now, that leads us up to here. However, well, we actually can do one because there's something for them to sit on there. So let's do that. And then we're going to go ahead and put in you. And I'm going to wait. How much is the large gate? 500? I have enough. We could definitely do that. Does that require metal? No, actually it doesn't. So let's go ahead. We'll get in the triple. That will be our big spender today, I think. We'll do that. And then we need a couple of platforms. There we go. I could definitely used some other platforms, but we'll reclaim those eventually. Let's see, can we get... We might actually have to put in ladders here so that we can get down to these trees and take them out. We're actually going to cut them, so we'll leave those to be cut. There we go. And we're probably going to have to find another way up there. You can go there. And you can go there, and that should give you plenty of room. It's going to take a bit. Well, look at that. Our main dam is in. So what I'd like to do is maybe toss a couple more of these over here, but we're going to need platforms for that too. I'm going to do this, and let's toss in 2 here. Actually, instead of having 2 at this height, let's kind of separate them out, because this will only be able to take off the very top, and that'll help us while the water's coming in, but it definitely won't help us much farther than that. So let's just grab one of you, and you can go here. So do that, and that, and dies in 0.9 days. Well, that's going to get rejuvenated, so let's just go ahead and take that out of there. And that will let us gain all the water we need. There we go. So we're all set up there. We still haven't built this. I don't know why. Let's up the priority on that just a bit. And we'll see if they can get to that, so that next time we don't have all the potatoes dying all the time. There we go. I think we've got a pretty good start. We've got a bit of a reservoir here. We'll watch it fill up, just to make sure that there's nothing quite wrong with it. Plus, we want to make sure that everything flips back the right way. Yep, it sure did. So nothing is going to overflow. Over here, that looks good. Actually, let's, instead of doing that fully open, let's do when temperate starts. Let's see, when drought starts, when drought ends. When drought ends, we'll set you to 0.5 and 0.5. Same thing here, 0.5, 0.5. Sometimes you just got to go around and tweak the numbers a little bit. So let's set you up to 0.5. Just for this cycle, we'll have to manually do this. This looks like it's okay. It is definitely going this way. There is a water source here, which I would eventually like to get to. But for the moment, I think we'll just have to let in what we can with what water we can get in there. There we go. And we've got, our second one in. I'm hoping everything turned, that didn't turn back on. Let's do unpause, unpause, unpause. We'll make sure there's always somebody in there. Same thing here. This one should always be unpaused. And that one unpauses when it's out of water. So there we go. Let's get folks back in here. Sometimes I do wish you could get that switch for some of the other things, but I'm not sure how they would attach the advanced one to it. They don't really have anything that tells the beavers if there's crops growing or if the ground is dry. So let's get you in there. There we go. Now we should have enough water absorbing ability. Oh, you know what? I think last episode we were going to put in a storage for trees here, so let's do that. We don't want a warehouse. We want a pile. Would a tall pile just still be a pile? Seems like it. I mean, a pile, it doesn't matter how large it is. It's still just a pile, right? I'm not sure what the qualifications are to be a pile, really. There we go. Let's... No, I don't want to do that. Let's do this. And cut to you. There we go. There we go. Okay, all set up, ready to go. We get that. And there we go. I think that's going to do it for today, though. We've got a little bit of a reservoir in. We've got some things automated. We're starting on a bigger reservoir. And we're just making some good progress on water storage. So until next time, just want to say thank you very much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and hope to see you next time. Bye.